There is a road in the American imagination. It's more than just asphalt and concrete. It's a ribbon of dreams, an artery of hope stretching from the clamor of Chicago to the sun-drenched shores of the Pacific. Route 66, the Mother Road. It was the path of Dust Bowl refugees seeking a promised land, of soldiers returning home from war, of families in station wagons chasing the horizon. It's a symbol of freedom, of the boundless possibility of the open road. But for every dream that blossomed along its 2,400-mile spine, another withered and died in the dust. Every mile is saturated with history, with joy and heartbreak, with ambition and despair. And when a place is so steeped in human emotion, it holds on to echoes. The road is a boneyard of abandoned motels, forgotten towns, and broken promises. It's a thin place where the veil between then and now is worn and frayed. If you travel it today and listen, truly listen, past the roar of your engine and the static on the radio, you can still hear the whispers. These are the stories of the ones who never left, the legends, the mysteries, and the ghosts that still haunt the shoulders of Route 66. Our journey begins where the road does, on the edge of the Mississippi River, at a crossing that was troubled from its very start. The Chain of Rocks Bridge, connecting Madison, Illinois to St. Louis, is an engineering marvel and a monument to dread. Its most unnerving feature is the one that gives it its character, a sharp, 22-degree bend right in the middle. The official reason was to aid river navigation, but locals whisper it was a compromise between two stubborn towns. Whatever the cause, the effect is disorienting. It creates a blind spot, a place where the world ahead vanishes for a moment. In its heyday, it was a humming corridor of commerce and travel. But as the interstate system rose, the bridge fell into disuse in 1970, becoming a skeletal, abandoned relic. It was in this lonely silence that the stories began to fester. People who dared to walk its mile-long expanse reported a chilling sensation of being watched, the feeling of an unseen presence just behind them. Some claimed to see a fleeting figure, a woman in white, standing at the apex of the bend, only to vanish when approached. The legend was cemented in tragedy. In 1991, sisters Julie and Robin Carey were brutally murdered on the bridge, their bodies thrown into the dark waters below. The crime shocked the region and draped the bridge in a permanent shroud of sorrow. Today, the Chain of Rocks Bridge has been reborn as a pedestrian and bike path. It's a popular spot, offering stunning views of the Saint Louis skyline. But even on a sunny day, cyclists report sudden cold spots and an inexplicable sense of dread at the bend. They say if you stop there and listen, you can still hear whispers on the wind, a mournful echo of those who met their end on that crooked path over the Mississippi. From an old rusting bridge, our journey takes us deeper into Missouri, to a place that never sleeps, a modern crossroads for the wanderers of the asphalt. The Tri-County Truck Stop in Villa Ridge is a city unto itself, a sprawling beacon of fluorescent light against the rural darkness. It's a place of constant motion, of diesel fumes and black coffee, a liminal space where drivers are neither here nor there, but always in between. And it's here that a thoroughly modern legend has taken root, the tale of the Shadow People. Truckers, a pragmatic and road-hardened bunch, are not prone to flights of fancy. But for years, drivers pulling into Villa Ridge for a few hours of rest have been reporting the same unsettling phenomena. It begins as a flicker in the corner of the eye, a trick of light and fatigue, but then it becomes more defined. A tall, featureless silhouette standing at the edge of the parking lot. A fleeting, man-shaped darkness darting between the rigs. The stories are eerily consistent. They are seen in the long, sterile hallways leading to the showers, reflected for a split second in a bathroom mirror, or standing silently at the foot of a bunk in the dead of night. There is no face, no clothing, just a void in the shape of a person, often accompanied by a profound and paralyzing sense of dread. Skeptics blame exhaustion, the hypnotic effect of long hours staring at white lines on the pavement. But the sheer number of similar reports from different people over many years suggests something more. It's as if the truck stop, a place saturated with the transient energies of countless lonely travelers, has become a magnet for these spectral entities. The shadow people of the Tri-County truck stop are a new kind of folklore for the interstate age, a chilling reminder that even in the brightest lit corners of the modern road, ancient fears of the dark still linger. Not far from the modern horrors of the truck stop, as Route 66 cuts across the corner where Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma bleed into one another, lies a mystery far older. This is the Devil's Promenade, and for over a century it has been home to one of America's greatest unsolved enigmas, the Hornet Spook Light. The legend predates the automobile, with the earliest reports coming from Quapaw and other Native American tribes in the 1800s. They spoke of the spirits of a young brave and a maiden, forbidden to be together, who leapt from the cliffs to their deaths. Their spirits, it said, now search for each other for eternity, their torch appearing as a ghostly light. When settlers arrived, they too saw it, a single basketball-sized orb of light, bobbing and weaving down a lonely 4-mile stretch of gravel road. It glows with a warm yellowish light, sometimes swaying gently like a lantern, other times zipping around and splitting into smaller lights before vanishing. For generations, believers and skeptics alike have flocked to this spooklight road, hoping to witness the phenomenon. During World War II, the Army Corps of Engineers conducted a formal investigation, concluding definitively that the light was a mystery. They ruled out car headlights, marsh gas, and phosphorescent minerals. The light moves with an intelligence that defies easy explanation, appearing even when all power in the surrounding area is cut. It seems to react to people, sometimes approaching cars before darting away. Today, a small museum stands nearby, a testament to the light's enduring power. On any given night, you'll find cars parked along the road, their occupants staring into the Ozark darkness, waiting. And more often than not, the Hornet Spook Light appears, a silent, spectral dancer in the heartland, a question mark burning in the night that science has yet to answer. From a light that haunts the horizon, we cross into Kansas, where the ghosts are born not of mystery but of a specific brutal history. The section of Route 66 that clips the southeastern corner of the state is short, only about 13 miles, but it passes through the town of Baxter Springs, a place scarred by one of the Civil War's most infamous massacres. In October 1863, the notorious Confederate guerrilla leader William Quantrill and his Raiders, a band that included future outlaws Frank and Jesse James, descended upon the small Union outpost of Fort Blair. They first overran the fort, and then, in a shocking act of brutality, ambushed a Union column that included the fort's commander, Major General James G. Blunt. Most of the Union soldiers, many of them unarmed musicians and clerks, were cut down where they stood. The event became known as the Battle of Baxter Springs, but it was less a battle and more a slaughter. The bodies were buried in a mass grave, which is now the Baxter Springs National Cemetery, and it is from this blood-soaked ground that the legends arise. For over 150 years, residents and visitors have reported strange occurrences along the old military road and in the cemetery itself. They speak of the ghostly sounds of galloping horses on nights when the air is still, the faint smell of gunpowder, and the disembodied cries of men in agony. Some have claimed to see spectral figures in tattered blue Union uniforms wandering aimlessly through the town's historic downtown, forever reenacting their final terrifying moments. The land itself seems to hold the memory of that violence. The ghosts of Baxter Springs are not vengeful, but tragic, a permanent psychic stain on the landscape, a reminder that the Mother Road is paved over grounds hallowed not just by dreams, but by blood. As we push deeper into the vast plains of Oklahoma, the legends change, drawing from the deep well of Native American folklore. Here, the landscape itself is haunted. Along a stretch of Route 66 near the town of Hydro, the road dips into a shallow, beautiful canyon carved by the Caddo River. For generations, this place has been known as the home of a sorrowful spirit, the weeping ghost of the Caddo County Canyon. The story, told by the Cheyenne and Arapaho people of the region, speaks of a tragic event during the forced relocations of the 19th century. A wagon train was crossing the canyon when a sudden flash flood swept through. In the chaos, an Indian woman was separated from her infant child. She watched in horror as the raging waters carried her baby away. Crazed with grief, she spent the rest of her life searching the canyon, her mournful cries echoing off the red rock walls. They say her spirit never left. For decades, travelers on this lonely section of Route 66, especially on stormy nights, have reported seeing a spectral, mist-like figure of a woman on the side of the road, sometimes appearing to be searching for something. But it's the sound that is most unnerving. A faint, heartbreaking wail that seems to come from the very air around you. A sound of pure, undiluted sorrow that chills the blood. Even today, locals advise against stopping in the canyon after dark. The story has been passed down, a cautionary tale woven into the fabric of the place. The weeping ghost is a tragic guardian of the canyon, her eternal grief a somber reminder of the historical traumas that lie just beneath the surface of the Oklahoma soil. Further east along the Oklahoma stretch of Route 66 lies a monument to Jazz Age ambition, the Skirvin Hotel in Oklahoma City. When it opened in 1911, it was the height of luxury, a 10-story beacon of progress. But behind its opulent facade, a dark and scandalous secret was born, one that would give the hotel its most famous and most permanent resident. The legend centers on the hotel's original owner, Oilman W.B. Skirvin. The story goes that he had an affair with a young maid whose name has been lost to time but is known in folklore as Effie. When Effie became pregnant, Skirvin, fearing a scandal that would ruin his reputation, locked her away in a room on the 10th floor. After the baby was born, she was driven mad by her confinement and the sound of her own child crying. In a fit of despair, she leaped from the window, taking the infant with her. Her tragic spirit, it is said, never checked out. For decades, hotel staff and guests have reported paranormal activity, concentrated on the 10th floor. They speak of a disembodied woman's voice, the sound of a baby crying when no infant is present, and objects moving on their own. The legend gained national attention in the 21st century, thanks to a peculiar victim, visiting NBA teams. Players from the New York Knicks to the Chicago Bulls have publicly shared their terrifying experiences while staying at the Skirvin, from sleepless nights filled with strange noises to bathtubs mysteriously filling and doors slamming shut. The hotel has since embraced its ghostly reputation. Effie is now a part of the Skirvin's identity, a piece of living, or rather unliving, history. Her story serves as a chilling example of how a place of luxury and ambition can also become a permanent prison for a spirit wronged. Leaving Oklahoma, the road stretches into the vast, sun-baked plains of the Texas Panhandle. Here, the ghosts are as stark and unforgiving as the landscape itself. In Amarillo, a city built on cattle and oil, lies the spectral memory of a place built for joy that ended in tragedy, the Natatorium. Opened in 1922, The Nat, as it was known, was a magnificent oasis. It boasted the largest swimming pool in the country, a dance hall, and an amusement park. It was the heart of Amarillo's social life, a place of laughter and summer fun. But its bright future was cut short. A series of tragedies plagued the park. In 1926, a young man, B.C. Sonny Bevins, was struck by lightning and killed while standing near the pool. A few years later, a woman was said to have drowned in the deep end. The Great Depression hit hard, and the park's fortunes dwindled. By the 1930s, it was a shadow of its former self, eventually closing and falling into ruin. The structures were torn down, but the spirit of the place and its tragedies lingered. The land, near the intersection of what would become Route 66 and Grand Street, became known as a haunted place. Locals reported hearing phantom music, the faint strains of a 1920s jazz band drifting on the night air. Others claimed to see the ghostly figure of a young man, thought to be Sonny Bevins, wandering the grounds during thunderstorms, forever replaying the moment of his sudden death. The pool itself was eventually filled in, and a shopping center was built over the site. But even now, employees of the businesses there report strange feelings, unexplained cold spots, and the unsettling sense of being watched. The natatorium is gone, but its joyful and tragic echoes remain, a ghost of summer fun that haunts the concrete heart of Amarillo. Crossing into New Mexico, the landscape becomes imbued with a different kind of spirit, one drawn from centuries of Hispanic folklore. Here, along the rivers and arroyos that Route 66 crosses, one of the most terrifying and tragic figures in American legend is said to wander, La Llorona, the Weeping Woman. While her story has many variations, the core is always the same. A beautiful woman named Maria, spurned by the wealthy man she loved, is driven to a moment of insane jealousy. In a fit of rage, she drowns her own children in a river to spite him. The instant the deed is done, her sanity returns, and she is consumed by a grief so profound that it follows her into death. Cursed to wander the earth for eternity, she is trapped between the living world and the spirit world, forever searching the riverbanks for her lost children. Her mournful cry, "Ay, mis hijos," "Oh, my children," is said to strike terror into the hearts of all who hear it. They say to see her is an omen of death. Along Route 66, her legend is tied to the Pecos and Rio Grande rivers. Travelers on lonely stretches of the road near these waterways have reported seeing a tall, slender woman in a white gown, walking slowly along the shoulder. Her face is always obscured, either by a veil or by the shadows of the night. But it is her weeping that confirms her identity, a sound that is not of this world. The tale of La Llorona serves as more than just a ghost story. It's a cautionary tale, a story parents tell their children to keep them away from the dangers of the water after dark. She is a powerful, enduring figure, a spectral embodiment of grief and regret, whose sorrowful cries still echo across the New Mexico desert. In the heart of New Mexico, in the city of Albuquerque, stands another monument to a past that refuses to stay buried. The Chemo Theater on Central Avenue, the original path of Route 66, is a stunning example of Pueblo Deco architecture, a vibrant fusion of Native American and Art Deco styles. Opened in 1927, it was a palace of dreams for the city. But the theater's history is marked by a tragedy that gave birth to its most famous and most mischievous spirit. In 1951, a water heater in the theater's lobby exploded, killing a 6-year-old boy named Bobby Darnell. It was a horrific accident that sent a shockwave of grief through the community. Almost immediately after, strange things began to happen. Stagehands and performers started reporting unexplained occurrences. Props would go missing only to turn up in strange places. Lights would flicker on and off for no reason. Actors would be tripped by an unseen force on stage. They attributed the pranks to the restless spirit of young Bobby, a playful but sometimes disruptive ghost. Over the years, a tradition developed. To appease Bobby's spirit and ensure a smooth performance, the cast and crew leave him offerings, usually donuts or small toys, on a small shrine set up backstage. It's said that if the offering is not made, Bobby will make his presence known by creating technical glitches or causing actors to forget their lines. The legend is so ingrained in the theater's culture that even touring national productions respect the tradition. The Chemo Theater has been beautifully restored and remains a vibrant part of Albuquerque's art scene, but it operates with the knowledge that it has a permanent, unseen cast member. The ghost of Bobby Darnell is a poignant reminder that not all spirits are terrifying. Some are just children, forever seeking the play and attention that was so tragically taken from them. As we press west into Arizona, the road cuts through a landscape that is both beautiful and brutal. The legends here are raw, primal, and steeped in blood. Just off Route 66, between the towns of Kingman and Oatman, lies a place with a name that tells its own terrifying story: Slaughterhouse Canyon. The tale is one of frontier desperation. In the 1800s, a poor family lived in a small cabin deep within the canyon. The father, a prospector, struggled to find gold and feed his children. One day, driven mad by starvation and failure, he descended into a violent psychosis. He slaughtered his entire family before taking his own life. The canyon, they say, never forgot. It absorbed the horror of that day, and it plays it back for those unlucky enough to be there after the sun goes down. The primary legend is auditory. Visitors who brave the canyon at night report hearing the most gut-wrenching sounds imaginable: the frantic, terrified screams of a woman and children, followed by a long, agonizing silence. It's known as the slaughterhouse cry, a sound so real and so filled with pain that it has sent many running from the canyon in sheer terror. Some have even called the police, convinced they have stumbled upon a modern-day crime, only to have officers explain the area's dark history. Others have claimed to see the ghostly apparition of the mother, her face a mask of horror as she relives her final moments. Today, the canyon remains a profoundly unsettling place, a natural amphitheater for a spectral tragedy. It's a stark warning from the road that some places are so saturated with violence and sorrow, the echoes can never truly fade. Just a few miles from the horror of Slaughterhouse Canyon lies the quirky, historic mining town of Oatman, Arizona, a place where wild burros roam the streets and the past feels very much alive. At the heart of the town is the Oatman Hotel, built in 1902. It's a classic Old West establishment, but it's most famous for two things: being the honeymoon spot for Hollywood legends Clark Gable and Carole Lombard, and being the permanent home of a ghost named Odie. Odie's story is tied to the town's mining roots. He is believed to be the spirit of William Ray Flower, an Irish miner who struck it rich but met a tragic end. The story goes that he died behind the hotel in 1930, possibly from drinking too much or from some unknown foul play. His spirit, it seems, decided to stay. For decades, guests and staff have reported encounters with a friendly but mischievous ghost. The sounds of a bagpipe are often heard in the hallways, even though no one is playing. Odie is said to particularly haunt room 10, the Gable Lombard Suite. Guests report the covers being pulled off them in the middle of the night, their belongings being moved around the room, and the disembodied sound of quiet whispers and laughter. Unlike many of the road's more malevolent spirits, Oati is considered a benevolent presence, a playful character who is now part of the hotel's charm. Paranormal investigators have flocked to the hotel, many leaving with audio recordings of unexplained voices and other evidence of Auti's presence. The Oatman Hotel fully embraces its spectral resident, inviting visitors to come and experience a piece of history that is both glamorous and ghostly. A reminder that on Route 66, even the afterlife can have a sense of humor. Our final journey takes us across the Mojave Desert into California, into the hottest, most desolate stretch of the entire Mother Road. Here, the ghosts are not of people, but of places. Entire towns that once thrived on the ribbon of asphalt have been swallowed by the sand and the silence. None is more spectral than the town of Baghdad. In its prime, Baghdad, California, was a vital stop. It had a hotel, a post office, and a handful of homes, a small but essential oasis for weary travelers crossing the desert. It was also famously one of the driest places in the United States, once going 767 straight days without a single drop of rain. But the construction of Interstate 40 in 1973 was a death sentence. The new highway bypassed Baghdad completely, and the lifeblood of traffic was cut off. The town withered, people left, buildings were abandoned, and the relentless desert began its work of reclamation. Today, absolutely nothing is left of Baghdad. The last buildings were razed decades ago. There is no marker, no ruin, only an empty, sun-scorched patch of sand next to the railroad tracks. And yet it haunts the road. It is a true phantom town. Travelers on this lonely stretch of Old 66, often at dusk or in the shimmering heat of midday, have reported seeing things that shouldn't be there. A flicker of light where a building once stood, the faint, distorted outline of a structure that vanishes as you get closer. It's the heat haze effect, skeptics say, a mirage. But for others, it's the ghost of the town itself. Its memory so strong can still project an image onto the desert canvas. The legend of Phantom Baghdad is the ultimate ghost story of Route 66, a testament to the fact that when a place dies on the Mother Road, its spirit lingers on the shoulder, a sun-bleached memory waiting for the next traveler to drive by and wonder what used to be. If you enjoyed this journey into the shadows of the Mother Road, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories from the forgotten corners of history. We'll see you in the next one.